What's up, everyone, and welcome into the latest episode where it is my honor and privilege to introduce a special guest who I've gotten to know decently well over the last couple of months. A really great quarterback, in my opinion, someone that I'm really honored to have on, someone that you might see his face a little bit in the future, possibly next year for football. But it's my honor to introduce Tiffin's quarterback, Alex Johnson. How are you doing, man?
Yes, sir. I'm good. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you joining. I know that you've been pretty busy so far. I know that your season just ended and that you're obviously a senior. How are you feeling about things? Is it kind of weird? Has it set in a little bit? Or are you still kind of trying to take it all in?
Yeah, it's kind of set in a little bit. Just the realization of football being over. Football is kind of a finite game. Kind of go into it with the realization that kind of your snaps are numbered. And that's kind of what makes it special too. You prepare all the days out of the year, like 350 days or whatever, for the 11 games, and that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, everyone's kind of time playing football, playing athletics does eventually come to an end. And you guys this year end up going 7-4 on the season, which I know wasn't necessarily the season that you guys truly wanted or probably expected to have. But for me and you, it truly kind of started a little bit with the Ferris State game, game number two on the season, because you guys went to Detroit, Wayne State, the first game, absolutely kind of dominated from there. But I remember game two was number one Ferris, and that's truly when like you and I have kind of started talking a little bit because I did a preview for that game, basically talking about how I thought Ferris State was going to win pretty handily. Got a message from you shortly after you probably saw it, which rightfully so. But going into that game, when you're going up against the number one team in the country really early on, what was your kind of mindset, the team mindset going into Taggart Field, a place that not a lot of people have success at? But in my opinion, you guys probably played Ferris State the toughest out of anyone besides maybe like a GVSU and SVSU.
Yeah, obviously, kind of the mindset going into that game was just play our game, not lose confidence. We obviously know they're a good opponent. Like the numbers speak for themselves. And so we just kind of we're focused on ourselves, our process. We kind of know, as an offense, especially my side of the ball, we just kind of know we can't really worry about what the defense is doing. We can't worry about what special teams is doing. We just gotta worry about our execution one play at a time. And if you execute enough plays, kind of getting us in a position to be in it to win it at the end, and we were. I mean, credit to them. They sat on the ball at the end of the game. Were able to kind of execute the 4 minute drill, which is extremely hard to do. And so they were able to do that and come away with the win. I mean, it was a good game. Obviously, honestly, I kind of went in expecting to win the game. That's kind of how I always am going into a game. As crazy as it may seem, I had the utmost confidence in my team and our ability to go into that environment and come away with a win. And honestly, we were a little disappointed that we ended up losing that game.
Yeah, because you have to have kind of that belief if you're going to go into a game like that. If you go into a game and you don't believe that you'll win, it's going to end up being a loss anyways. So going into that game, obviously having that belief is one really key, but also performing well. Like you guys performed well. It was a 7 point loss. Obviously, you mentioned at the end of the game, they basically performed a 4 minute drill to perfection, which for the number one team in the country back to back national championship 3 out of the last 4 years. Obviously, it's going to be a really tough game. It's going to be a really tough atmosphere. How difficult was it playing in that atmosphere? Was it anything that you kind of expected to have happen, or is it almost kind of at the point of like it's just a football game? Because before Tiffin, you were actually at Washington, the University of Washington, for a little bit, so you've had a little bit of experience with big crowds. Was there anything close to that, or was it just like another like away game that you guys had pretty early on in the season?
Yeah, honestly, I just kind of every game to me just kind of it's the same 11 guys on the field. It's been the same ever since we were kids, 53 and a third wide, 100 yards long, 10-yard end zones. I mean, it's the same game whether you're playing in front of 100,000 or playing in front of 5,000 or 2,000. It's the same game, comes down to execution. I really don't let the fans worry about it. It's always fun playing on fields that have a good environment and it's loud. And it was obviously loud at Ferris. It was fun on third down, having to yell a little bit, use my cadence. It's always a fun environment to play in.
And speaking of playing in fun environments, different environments as well, you guys started the first four games on the road. How difficult is that starting the first four games? Obviously, that's going to mean that kind of the back half of your schedule is going to be home, which is someplace that you want to be. But like having the first four games on the road, that can't necessarily be easy, but also might make kind of coming together as a team a little bit easier because you obviously have the bus rides. Like I know some of those trips weren't extremely long. Some of them were in Ohio. Obviously, Big Rapids is a little bit away from Ohio. Detroit's a little bit away from Ohio, but that had to be a little bit of an interesting kind of start to the season, not having a single home game until week 5 or October 4th.
Yeah, it was definitely a interesting start to the season. I kind of like playing on the road a little bit. It's fun, going into someone else's stadium, just making the place a little bit quieter. And it's always fun staying in the hotels with the guys and the long bus rides, like you said. I got a group in the bus. We play euchre together. So it's always fun. I thought that's a game I learned once kind of coming out here. Kind of obviously being a West Coast guy, but it was we kind of played that in the back of the bus. I mean, I really enjoyed going on the road. It obviously we kind of had we knew we were gonna go to Wayne State going in the year. They came to us last year, and when Ferris kind of proposed to play Ferris, our coach jumped on that opportunity, and I wouldn't kind of want it any other way. And for whatever reason, the GMAC gave us two opening road games, and can't really worry about that. It kind of is what it is. So just had to kind of just try to take care of business and kind of play the games that are in front of us.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, like it's something that you kind of wanted at the early beginning. Like you mentioned, like you had a proposal to play Ferris State, and you wanted kind of that really great opponent. You wanted to kind of have that tough road to start. And I feel like overall, maybe not exactly like record wise exactly what you wanted, but I also feel like it obviously helped you guys kind of prepare for the back half of the conference schedule as well because the GMAC as a whole, it might not necessarily get the praise it does compared to like the GLIAC. I feel like a lot of people talk about the GLIAC compared to the GMAC, but the GMAC this year wasn't easy whatsoever. I know that you fully understand that going up against three teams that end up being an NCAA playoff team, one from the GLIAC in general. Like the GMAC is just, in my opinion, underrated. It has to be really fun, kind of playing in the conference that you guys play in.
Yeah, I mean the GMAC's a great conference. And as you said, playing Ferris State definitely prepared us for our conference. Definitely prepared us the rest of the way. I mean, there's some really tough football teams especially the top half of our conference. I mean, everyone kind of plays each other closely with Ashland, Findlay, Northwood, us. Even Hillsdale's in there, Walsh is in there. I mean, those teams. I mean, Lake Erie was a much improved squad this year. I mean, the GMAC plays some really good football. Kind of be on your P's and Q's every week. You're playing good players every week, and every. I mean, we had three teams enter the playoffs. We had four of the playoff teams on our schedule for the eight Super Region 3 playoff teams. So, I mean, we got our cracks at the playoffs teams. The ball didn't really bounce our way. A couple overtime losses and a 7-point loss to those teams, so it kind of is what it is. And, we played a great schedule. It's kind of why I came out here. Well, I mean, we're playing the best of the best week in and week out, and it's always fun to compete with the best.
I was just gonna say, did you know a lot about Tiffin or the GMAC before coming out here? Like, how did you even end up in basically Ohio from Washington? I know you've been here for 2 years. I know that your offensive coordinator, which I should have known that you guys were going to be a great offense anyways, because he actually joined this podcast back when he was at SVSU. He was the one that brought you out to Ohio. Just how did you kind of find out about Tiffin, Ohio? And was it a little bit of like a rude awakening coming from the West Coast to Ohio to the Midwest? Because it's probably quite a bit different here than it was out in like Washington.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Coach Blair obviously is the reason I came to Tiffin. He is was the biggest part in my recruitment. He was, I mean, I can't say enough good things about Coach Blair. I mean, he's the offensive coordinator for us, and he's also the quarterback coach. So, I mean, I spent a tons of time with him, just in the meeting room, going through the game plan, giving my input on the game plan, etc. And he does a great job with the plans and getting us ready to play, kind of getting our guys in good positions to go win it. But I mean, coming to Ohio, I mean, I just knew kind of being over out in Washington, there's only, I mean, one Division II team. And there's kind of only a couple of smaller school football teams, so it's a lot more dispersed out here or out there. Over here, there's much more concentration of like conferences and leagues to play in and whatnot. So most kids do kind of have to end up leaving that region just to go
Okay.
play college sports in general. It's not really just a college football thing. It's kind of all sports, to be honest with you. Obviously, there's some kids that stay in region, but a lot that go out. But I mean, Coach Blair in the transfer portal was really adamant about wanting me, and my biggest thing was kind of just going where I'm wanted, going where I know I'm going to have a good opportunity to play and a good opportunity to succeed. And I knew Coach Blair being a former quarterback and also having a few former quarterbacks on staff. I'd be put in good spots to win and to go win basically as many games as possible.
Yeah, and you mentioned just
And
how
obviously,
highly you think of him, and I think he's just a guy, in my opinion, is a young guy that is an up and coming coach. You've mentioned like former quarterback. You see a lot of former quarterbacks kind of become offensive coordinators, become head coaches. I definitely think he has the potential to do so, and probably having that relationship obviously not only helped you throughout the season, but also probably helped you grow as a quarterback as well, kind of seeing what he sees, seeing what you see as well. Because the quarterback position, for a lot of people, they say it's like the leader of the offense. Like you're supposed to know everything. You're kind of the one in command of the huddle for the most part. Like, how important is kind of not only your relationship with the head coach, with the offensive coordinator, but like when things aren't maybe going the way that you want, kind of having that leadership role, having that understanding of just like what they're looking for. Because to start the season, you guys end up starting 2-2 before I end up getting to Hillsdale your first game, which I know was probably not what you guys expected. How, like I mentioned, how do you kind of deal with that being kind of the leader of the offense, the quarterback, but also having guys around you that succeeded at your position, succeeded in general?
yeah, I mean the relationship with Coach Blair is incredibly important. I mean, I argue it's honestly maybe even more important than the relationship between the quarterback and a head coach because Coach Blair, I mean, he coordinates the offense. He's the one actually designing all the plays, and I'm the one executing all the plays. So we have to be on the same page as far as his design, his intent for the plays, and then when I'm actually out there executing the play. So I mean, our relationship's incredibly important. I have to be an extension of him out on the field. Back, I have to know what he's thinking with certain play calls. I mean, there's so many plays this year where it's just like little nuggets of when, like, why certain routes are built into plays and on certain situations, and then being able to kind of go back on that coaching. I mean, it happened this Saturday, 3rd and 14, earlier in the game against Finley. We kind of knew what they were going to do on a 3rd and long, 3rd and 14, and then we kind of exposed it with the FIB formation of the boundary and run kind of a climb concept to the field. And we kind of knew we'd have the window for the post curl, just the way they've kind of showed it on film, and I just dropped back, trusted it, kind of developed the way we talked about, and just put it there right on time. And I mean, that's just kind of one example of just a ton I could keep on talking about. But our relationship's definitely paramount to the success of the offense. Yeah,
And it has to be cool, obviously, like seeing that kind of like click or that conversation happen in person, like during the game as well. Like you mentioned, like it's something that you guys knew, but then it happened in a game and you knew it right away, and like it really succeeded and allowed you guys to obviously have that one example of many examples that you talked about. Like again, it kind of goes back to that relationship, but also goes back to like the play calling, goes back to like the play design. Like when those things really truly click, that's when those things, like you mentioned, happen.
100%. It's just kind of all about seeing the looks and the picture, kind of knowing why certain plays are called, and being able to go back on that knowledge and that preparation in the game. And it's really, you don't really think about it in the game, it's just kind of reacting like, oh yeah, I remember that. It looks like that, and boom, gotta kind of make it happen in real time.
Yeah, and you guys had a great offensive season. If you look at statistically, if you looked at just how you guys performed overall, you averaged 31.5 points a game. You really seem to kind of, I don't want to say take off because I don't want to say that you guys struggled offensively against truly any team, but Walsh at home, which at that time was performing pretty well, you absolutely like went off. Like it was a 54-7 win at that point. That has to do so much, a ton for your confidence. Not only like for the rest of the season, but going up against a Walsh team that obviously didn't have a great season record wise, but still a really good opponent at home to go off for 54 and just dominate like you guys did from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, when we played them, I believe they were 4-1. I think they only had one loss on their record, so they're coming in obviously as a good team. I mean, they ended up playing everyone close all year too. But I mean, we had a lot of confidence going in against Walsh just because of really kind of the continuity of the staff they had and what happened last year. I mean, last year we kind of did a lot on offense. We wanted to do. They kind of run some split field stuff. And you're kind of, as a quarterback, you kind of lick your chops a little bit when you see that. I mean, the last 2 years they've had over 800 yards against Walsh. So I mean, it's kind of just what we expected. It was on me to just go execute the game plan, go execute the plays. We knew they'd be there. It's kind of just one of those days at the office where we were executing, things were clicking, and we were kind of getting the looks we wanted to get with our plays, and like everything was firing on all six cylinders from the play caller all the way down to executing the protection and the routes and all that's all everything in between.
And how much kind of goes on between like the play clock? Like after a play happens, obviously your offensive coordinator, your head coach gives you the play, you say it. Like there's so much that has to go on in so little time. Like you have to still identify the defense, you have to identify the look, you have to identify protection. If you have like another play, like you want to like go to, like you have to identify that as well. Like how as a quarterback do you kind of go through all of that? Is that like just specifically like it's just in your head, like you don't even have to think about it. You're like, hey, there's one high safety, this is the look, if there's this look, there's this look. Like obviously you spend so much time in the film room probably understanding exactly what they do, and you spend so much time with the play calls, with the offensive coordinator. There's so much that goes into being a quarterback, but there has to be so much kind of going on at once during the game that you have to get right or you make a mistake.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, especially in college at the line of scrimmage. I think there's a really big jump from high school to college. And kind of the world we lived in at Tiffin too this year, we ran a lot of kill calls, a lot of alerts. I mean, any team in the conference that played us knows that. So really, most of the time at the line of scrimmage, we go up, we have two plays called. We have a live play and a kill or an alert play. I mean, it kind of just comes down to me and what I see at the line of scrimmage, whether to keep the play on or to alert it. And it's, I mean, we have tons of different stuff: run to pass, run to run, pass to pass, like quick game to explosive, explosive to run. I mean, all sorts of different types of kill calls for various reasons and various situations. Just making sure we kind of get ourselves in the best position possible. I mean, there's just a lot happening on every play. I mean, you got to get the personnel in, so you got to be in the right personnel, whether it's 10, 11, 12, double zero, whatever it might be. So you got to get personnel right. Then you got to get the formation. Everyone's got to line up right. You got to get the play call. You got to communicate the play call to everybody. Make sure everyone's lined up. Usually we got a ton of motions and indicators and shifts and whatnot. So you got to shift somebody. Then you got to kind of utilize the shift. It's like look at a certain guy to whether confirm what they're doing, then kind of adjust the play call from there. And it just all goes back to preparation and experience, really. I mean, I've taken a lot of snaps, especially in college. That's kind of this similar world, the kill call and multiple plays at the line of scrimmage was a similar world I lived in actually in junior college. Back even before I was at Washington, I started 2 years in junior college. And we did a ton of that there. And I mean, I spent countless hours in the film room there too. So I mean, it goes back to experience and knowing what needs to get done, knowing what to look for. And I mean, once you kind of see a lot of looks, I mean, there's only so many things the defense can really do to you structurally, just because they have to be accountable for certain gaps, certain people in the pass game. There has to be certain responsibilities. So you can usually figure things out by process of elimination. You got to do it pretty quickly. I mean, sometimes I get the play call. There's like 15 seconds left on the clock, and it's like, all right, gotta get everyone lined up, gotta shift, gotta get it right. All right, then you gotta snap the ball real quick and deliver the ball in the right spot while, avoiding guys as well who are trying to tackle you at full speed.
Yeah. No, it has to be obviously fun, but also stressful as well. Like you mentioned, of like how much is going on, but like it's an offense. It's kind of what you did prior to Washington. It's what you did at Tiffin as well. It's what you're kind of used to, and I can see why Coach Blair wanted you because it's probably something that obviously you're really good as a quarterback, but something that you're used to. Like you're used to like those kill plays. You're used to kind of similar type of concepts. Probably not similar plays. Probably not like entirely the same thing. But when you're kind of running that system, you kind of need a quarterback that understands that process, that understands what they're looking for, and having obviously a little familiarity with JUCO, and then coming into Tiffin, having a year behind you, and then having this year as well. I truly think it obviously played very much into your hands, and obviously you had a great year, 31 touchdowns, over 3,000 yards, 10 interceptions. I would say that's a pretty good season, to say the least.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty cool to get to 3,030. That's kind of a pretty cool milestone as a quarterback getting there in a year. But I mean, it just goes to the guys around me, just everyone making plays. I mean, Coach Blair making the right calls, all the guys making plays. I mean, just being in the right situations. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better team, better guys to make plays. I wouldn't like trade my guys for anyone else's that we played. I mean, I go back into battle with them every time, and if we were to lay some of those games back up, maybe the ball would bounce a little bit differently. But that's kind of the beauty of football as well. You don't really get to
Exactly.
do it again. And people say you didn't make the playoffs or this, that. All right, but we still played 4 out of the 8 playoff teams in our region, so we got our crack. Like I'm not going to sit here saying we didn't get our crack to play top level talent and to get a chance to show what we can do against the best.
Yeah, and you guys competed with them. It wasn't like it was blowout games. Like there was, again, you mentioned there's a couple bounces that if it went differently, you guys would have probably been in playoffs. And I know you mentioned that you wouldn't switch any of your guys and about the guys making big plays. And this is where I kind of want to get into a little bit of your last game against Finley because I know there's a big rivalry between you guys and Finley. I know it's a rivalry that, let's just say, you guys don't like each other very much. There's no love lost for each other at the end of the day. And this was a game that came down to the very last play. Like, very last play, your last play as a senior at Tiffin, your last snap, and you end up finding a guy in Jaden McKinstry for a 13-yard touchdown pass to end the game. He ended up making a great play. You end up having a great throw, which it seemed like you did a little bit of a back shoulder pass. I don't know if that's exactly what you kind of like aimed for. That's just kind of what I saw a little bit on the video. Maybe the video doesn't do itself what truly happened. But just talk about that because I know we have to kind of wrap up here shortly. But what a moment for your last play, for your last game, to find your guy in the end zone to beat your rival.
Yeah, I mean that was a unbelievable play by Jaden. Unbelievable play by the O line as well. We ran the exact same play on the previous play, and we actually ran that exact same play against Ashland as well for a touchdown. Kind of that touchdown we had against Ashland was kind of replaying in my mind. There's 3 seconds left on the clock. The plays replaying in my mind. All right, we got to get Jaden on the bang post. He's an incredible athlete. He's a 6'4" receiver with, about a 40-inch vertical. Absolutely unreal ball skills. And, we got to the line of scrimmage, and I was pretty happy when I got to the line of scrimmage and I saw the look. They were bringing zero pressure, which I thought was aggressive in that moment, but I absolutely loved it. I was happy to get that cover zero pressure. I knew I had the bang post with Jaden on the outside. I just knew with that 6'4" frame, I just had to put it up top, some just out of the other guy's reach, and Jaden made a great play on the ball. I put it up top for him. The boys picked up the blitz, and shout out to the O line and TBD, the running back, got an absolute did an absolute great job picking up the free linebacker, giving me just enough time to deliver the ball, and that was it. That was the game.
I was just gonna say, it kind of seemed like you knew. I don't want to say you knew right away that it was going to end up being a touchdown, but at least you really liked the look of it. So obviously, you wanted to
I
get
knew.
more. You knew right away.
Oh, I knew. When I got to the line of scrimmage, I knew. I knew it was game. I knew we won. I'm like, oh, it's over. Like before the ball was even snapped, I had full conviction in that play. Got the exact look I wanted with the receiver I wanted on the route, and it was beautiful.
And then you also get to take home the trophy as well.
Exactly. Got to take home the trophy. 3 years in a row. As of late, it's been all Tiffin in the rivalry. So that's all I gotta say about it. I continue the tradition that was started before me. I'm passing it on undefeated to the next guy. Never lost to an Oiler. That's all I gotta say.
And that has to be a great feeling, right?
Absolutely, especially as a Dragon.
Oh, I was just going to say it's one of those situations where I don't know obviously how much you know about MSU and like the Michigan rivalry. I'm sure you probably at least know of the rivalry, but like Kirk Cousins years and years ago went undefeated against Michigan, and he talked about how he would never walk the alley, how he can always walk the streets, knowing that he always beat Michigan. It's kind of maybe a little bit different of a situation than yours, but can kind of have a similar apply to the situation as well. That you know that hey, I've never lost to you. You can never have that over my head.
Yep, 100%. Definitely love to have that one. Had two starts against them, won them both. So absolutely love it.
Exactly. But no, I really appreciate you coming on, talking, recapping the season a little bit. Truly hope we can do this again. I know we've been in a little bit of a conversation about maybe having you join some previews, recaps next year, talk a little bit more about football. But I do want to say congrats on a great career, man. Like, you're an absolute baller. You absolutely deserve kind of like the career that you had. I know how much time, I know how much effort you wanted to and put into it. I know it wasn't maybe the season, it wasn't maybe the end goal that you wanted to do, but you guys truly had a great season. I think you guys should be proud of that in itself and proud of how you finished because even though you didn't make playoffs, you can always end with a rivalry win with a last second touchdown. And in my opinion, if it's not playoffs, there's no other way I would want it to end.
Yeah, 100%. 100% agree. And we kind of preserved another fun fact. We kind of knew coming into the game, Tiffin was the only team to finish a GMAC season 11-0 a few years ago. So Finley was trying to do the same thing, kept them from doing that as well. So a little bit of a legacy stopper there.
Hey, there you go. Can't get any better than that. Hold legacy and continue to dominate the rivalry.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, thank you again
I
for joining
appreciate you
me.
having me on.
Yeah, really appreciate you joining. Really appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day. Would love to do this again. Hopefully, we get the opportunity to do it again in the future. And yeah, no, obviously, I know you have big goals, you have big aspirations ahead of you, and enjoy the rest of the year. And hopefully, you can do this again in the future.
Yes, sir. I hope so too. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. And that is a wrap to this episode. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff, and make sure to tune in to the next one.